In this week's manga chapter of One Piece, Sanji sits down to have an unpleasant meal with his war-mongering family, and it goes about as well as you'd expect. You know that scene at the very end of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre where the surviving girl is tied up and forced to have dinner with a family of cannibals? I wouldn't say that the dinner in this week's chapter was as bad, but it was pretty freaking close. The Vinsmoke family is absolutely ruthless, and if you thought that Doflamingo took his ideology of being a royal seriously, then wait until you see the Vinsmokes in action. Although I have to admit that Sanji's sister Reiju doesn't really seem all that bad in comparison to her brothers, which seem to have no problem in beating up their servants and constantly berating Sanji. Sanji wants nothing to do with the Vinsmoke family. Every single thing that they're doing, constantly going to war with people, the fact that they kill all of their subordinates, and of course that they're about to form this big massive alliance with Big Mom. And the Vinsmoke family is not going to hear any of Sanji's bullshit. And it all builds up to this scene where Sanji gets really mad at his brother Niji because he's not finishing the food on his plate. This is like a cardinal sin for Sanji. It's really starting to get under his skin and really piss him off. And the main reason his brother isn't eating is because he feels that the food that he's eating is slop. So they call out the cook, who goes by the name of Cosette, this incredibly cute and gorgeous girl, and Sanji decides to console her after Niji is about to throw the food right into her face. Like, he basically picks up the plate like a frickin' pie and is about to slam it right into her face when Sanji manages to catch it at the right time. With most of the food hitting the floor, he even just gets rid of the whole 5-second rule and just decides to eat it all right there, describing how amazingly delicious this is. This does not sit well with his family whatsoever, and they go as far as to actually saying, look, if you're going to continue to go against our plans, we have other ways to basically make you do what we want to do. We're actually going to go find your old cook buddy Zeph, the guy who was the former lead of the Cook Pirates, the guy who practically raised Sanji to be a chef, and they're saying that they're going to kill him. And of course, this is not sitting well with everybody's favorite curly-twirled cook. Now, this alone could have made for an amazing drama-filled chapter, but things get even worse, where apparently off-screen, that cook Cosette was beat to hell, presumably by Sanji's brother Niji. And, I mean, she is really beat up. Like, you remember what Rocky looked like at the end of Rocky? Yeah, pretty much just like that. Then things go into Star Wars territory at the very end of the chapter, when Sanji discovers a secret room which is housing a number of clones of the Germa 66 army, which has completely screwed with my head, because now I'm trying to figure out, are all of the brothers and sisters of Jaji actually just clones? Or are they the actual sons and daughter of the Vinsmoke family? Is Sanji just a clone that was created years ago, and every single person that's a part of Germa 66 is just this Germa 66? Order 66! Attack of the Clones! Revenge of the Sith! Everything is starting to make sense! The Force is strong with this chapter, to say the least. So what's the rundown on this week's chapter of One Piece? This was a chapter that really broke my heart, getting to see that there's really nowhere that Sanji can go. You know, he has those wristlets that are on, which will cause him to presumably lose his hands if he tries to leave. His old buddy who raised him and saved him from drowning is about to be killed if he screws up. Not only that, but he's being forced to marry some chick he doesn't even really know. Sanji is stuck between a rock and a hard place in this chapter, and frankly, it just sucks to see that happen to one of my favorite characters. It's going to be a really triumphant moment when Luffy and all of his friends finally arrive and they save him from all of this. Something that I do think is really interesting about this chapter, however, is the scene where Sanji is talking back to his family, and they specifically focus on his father and his brothers, but Reiju isn't a part of that at all. In fact, she's actually in the very next panel on the next page, leading me to believe that Reiju probably is not as bad as her brothers and sisters. Then again, there could be a massive twist. She could be even more sadistic than we could possibly realize. What I will say is this chapter did another great job of just showing how insane the Vinsmoke family is and how serious they take their royalty. And I mean, I just love the overall design of everything they're bringing with the Vinsmoke family. Like, I love the fact that they all sit in these seats which have designated numbers for each of them. They look like freaking, basically, they look like giant pool balls. I also have to say that Niji was really cool in this chapter when he was about to kick his brother Sanji in the face, and he stopped his foot right before he was about to hit him, but you could see this massive gust and explosion of air just appearing behind Sanji, again showing that these guys are pretty freaking powerful. After this chapter, it's very easy to see where Sanji got his fighting abilities from, and I imagine a lot of his other brothers are going to have some cool kicking skills as well. Overall, this was a very exciting chapter of One Piece with a lot of mystery and intrigue behind it, not to mention just getting to spend more time with the Vinsmoke family, who is batshit crazy insane. I also really loved the title cover of this week's chapter of One Piece. For fans of the Kochikame manga, this is a manga that's been going on for a very, very long time. It is a comedy police drama sort of manga series. They just wrapped up, and it looks like the creator of One Piece decided to sort of like give his tribute to that series, so that was kind of nice at the beginning of this chapter. That being said, everything else here was really crazy. I mean, the biggest thing is the whole like clone factory they have at the very end of this chapter. This could explain why they have so many loyal clones who are just willing to get in the way of damage and basically let themselves get killed for the Vinsmokes themselves. I still think it's kind of weird that there's the possibility that the Vinsmokes themselves might actually be clones as well, especially when you do see that one clone at the very end, who, yes, he does have black hair and sunglasses, still he is slightly reminiscent of the Vinsmoke family, at least the way that they look. I really like this, though. It's crazy how much they can always add to the One Piece series. I mean, we've done some really wacky shit. Now we got clone armies involved. This is going to be the beginning of what I can guess is probably going to be an insane battle and war with the Vinsmokes, Germa 66, and Big Mom. So yes, I really did enjoy this chapter of One Piece, despite the fact that not that much happened. Still, all of the dialogue was very riveting. The Vinsmoke family is incredibly interesting, and little by little, we're starting to learn about them, their powers, and their overall motives. The whole clone thing at the end was just the cherry on top of the kick-ass sundae. This was a great chapter of One Piece. Not perfect, mind you, which is why I'm going to give this one right here a 4 out of 5. Check it out, One Piece fans. You might see something you like. But if any of you guys did read this week's chapter of One Piece, make sure to tell me what you thought about it in the comment section below. Do you have a favorite member of the Vinsmoke family? What's the deal with the whole clone army? Is there a bigger reason behind this? Are Sanji and his brothers and sister really just clones that were created by his father, Jaji? And what do you want to see from the rest of this brand new arc of One Piece? Please tell me in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. I truly appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, share this video with your friends, and smash that like button. That is right. You guys should also check out our weekly podcast show, The Powerful Nerdcast. You can find a link to that in the description box below. Thank you guys again for watching. And as always, stay dandy, baby. Sanji's family's fucking crazy!